If you're selling into the C-suite, they care about things that affect the entire enterprise or the organization. So you have to be thinking, what are those levers? All right, we got the gang back together again. We got another demo by Drew at MediaValet. Super knowledgeable, super likable guy, but he maybe spends a little bit too much time on the nitty-gritty details and not enough time selling. But let's check it out. All right.
We can't do everything, so that's when we looked at the dams and said we should be having this asset management program. So again, that's where the wish list came from. It came from different sides, different practitioners, people who are in account management who have to pull through us and say, well, we want to be able to do this, this, or that. So that's what we talked to Baden about originally. So
excellent.
Those are the different groups or the different types of disciplines involved in this evaluation.
No worries. Really appreciate that insight. Sorry, Baden, don't worry about taking notes. Actually, it's recording, so
okay.
I'll go back and it'll do it automatically. Okay, that's excellent. So I'm sorry. Can I ask again who we have in the room? Don't worry about the titles. We had that in advance.
So we have Claire Garvey here, who is on my team, and
business coordinator.
Israel. I think we can just go ahead.
Okay.
And in deference to your time, and because we're recording, we can go over it separately with them. I'm sure something came up.
Yeah, so I'll include the recording in my follow-up, and I'll send through a very comprehensive set of resources, not just on MediaValet, but on digital asset management in general. We've got some great content from Gartner and G2 Crowd and things like that. That'll help.
Okay, let's just have a quick pause here. Very beginning of the call, often what I find is how you start is how you end, right? And I'm curious, what do you think so far as to the tone that's being set and the way it's being perceived if you're in the prospect shoes?
I almost am feeling a little bit nervous. He's quite casual. He's got his face like way up in the screen, like you can almost see up his nose. So just remember, you are on camera, have that calm presence. Can kind of throw people off a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's so important to be disarming and build connection. And I see him being really good at building connection, right? It seems like he's starting out that way. A little bit too casual. I saw a little bit of nail biting, right? Not good. And so it is important in this day and age to remember that we're on camera, right? So speaking of, I like the sweater, I like the shirt. Yeah, no chest hair today, which is kind of weird.
Always camera ready.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's check it out.
Okay, and then will you be looking to manage your your content for your clients in the DAM and provide self-serve access to them as well?
At this point, we're going to start with business development, which obviously a lot of the assets are client driven because they're our creative product, our case studies, etc. So it could evolve to that, and probably should, which Mike Washer and Charlie and some of our other colleagues are on this evaluation committee, because they might say, that's great for new business, but we really need to have an agency-wide DAM to house all of our client assets. So yes, it will probably be used for clients. I can't speak to that right now because I would be working mostly with the development aspect of it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just bring that up because that's how we work with a number of agencies. So for example, we work with Brand USA and Miles Media, are two of our largest clients. So they are the agencies that work for the Tourism Bureau of the United States and beyond. So they create all the content for Discover America, and they actually open up that access to every convention and visitors bureau that is involved, like essentially across the US. Then they have, platinum partners, gold partners, based on the package. They'll provide, you can set controls and permissions in the DAM to provide very granular level of functionality as well as access rights. So you can control what they can do and what content that they can see in the DAM for security purposes, to be able to gate your internal content, but also for just general usability, so that when a specific user logs in, they're not going to need to fish through a bunch of content. Whatever is relevant to them is the only content that is available, and it creates a better UI and adoption. So that is, again, when I talk about how we can support you throughout this and looking at your implementation, that is a component of it, because really at MediaValet, and I'll send you a blog post on it, we have had a ton of success with what we have coined the crawl, walk, run approach. So
okay, so so what I'm kind of thinking here, Scott, is, and what are you doing? That's annoying.
So I don't know if you picked up on this, and I was giving you a hard time, but I keep hearing Drew acknowledging, and he's actively listening, but there's a fine line between active listening and going, yeah, great, excellent, yeah. It's almost like you want me to shut up.
It's stressful,
It
right?
is stressful. Yeah, it is stressful. And I have to say, it's super interesting being in this seat and listening to it, because I think back to sales calls that I've been on. I think I kind of do that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts there? How can you show that you're actively listening without sounding like a bird?
Right, because we're always talking about it's humans buying from humans, right? And it's not just the intellectual and cerebral side, it's the fact that we're tapping into emotions.
Right.
And we want the prospect to feel comfortable. Now, again, I think Drew's doing a great job in really being engaging. But I think it's important that we ensure that the prospect feel heard in a way that is respectful and doesn't make them feel like they're on the clock. And so I think the ways to do that would be not urgent check-ins like what you were doing there. I know you were exaggerating for the point of our viewers, but it's a good point. And I think it's more like letting them have their thing and then be like, okay, and then summarize. If I'm hearing you correctly, I think what I'm hearing you saying is check for mutual understanding.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go.
I agree. And you can do that, like you said, by just reiterating what they say and making sure that you're fully understanding. It will also help you down the line with objections to make sure that you're tackling the right objection and question, and you're getting it right.
So Scott, like right now we're in the discovery phase, right? We just witnessed the discovery phase. What do you think the right percentage is in terms of talk time, if you were assigned a percentage, for the prospect versus the seller?
I'd say you want the prospect to be talking 70 to 80% of the time.
I agree.
And we're not seeing that right now.
No. In fact, I think it's actually skewed the opposite.
Yeah.
And so I see this often though, where people tend to feel, a seller tends to feel like it needs to be a quid pro quo, when really it doesn't, right? They think that the prospect's feeling uncomfortable when we're asking a bunch of questions, but if you are positioning them correctly and using good sort of turns of phrases to bridge your discussion and your questions, then I think it can be very effective and not make them feel uncomfortable. So my coaching here to Drew would be, Drew, great questions, but it's okay to let the person know you're heard and then move to the next question. Don't have them answer and then you sell, and then answer and then sell. Save the selling for later. Yeah, okay to weave in a few nuggets here and there, but you shouldn't spend 80% in the discovery call selling.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. You don't have the tools on your belt yet to properly sell,
right?
Because you haven't done the discovery.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're just throwing a bunch of darts at a wall and hoping one lands.
For sure. Now, I do think she's probably feeling that he's being very supportive, and that's a great thing. So don't stop doing that. Just find a way to do it with less words.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
This login screen here is, of course, it can be branded with your logo. We'd get you to send over your preferred logo and your brand guidelines so we can sync up the coloring. We can do a vanity URL up here, markusa.mediavalet.com. If you want to buy your own domain or make it a subdomain of your website, we can do so. The users can actually register here as well. So if you have clients that you want to, or anybody that you want to provide the ability for them to register, you can do this, and then it will go through an approval process, of course, and you'll be able to associate the proper rights and access. And I'll show you that there. You can also customize the terms and conditions and things like that. But we'll go ahead and log in, and I'll just run you through a quick harbor cruise of, the home screen here, what we're looking at. I will point out that I am a full administrator in the dam today, so I have full access rights, functionality rights, permissions, etc. That is, we have 7 out of the box user groups. As we'll just sort of keep on this platform. It's 7 out of the box user groups where they're predefined sets, all the way from me, where I'm in a full admin, all the way down to a user who can view only. But you can create as many unlimited user groups as you want, with granular permissions of every feature and function available that you can either flag on or flag off, so you can get.
All right, gotta pause really quickly here. Kudos to Drew. Drew is an absolute product expert. And if he was doing a live webinar presentation to an audience that couldn't give any feedback or ask questions, he'd be nailing it, right? He's doing a very, very thorough job. But I think he's kind of forgetting that there's a human on the other end.
Right.
And I don't know, what are your thoughts on it?
I agree. I see it so often with replays when we're coaching our customers. The account executive feels like they hear the word demo, so they feel like it has to be this one-to-many demo, when really, he's just got 1 or 2 people on the other side of the line here. It's a conversation. Yeah. So my coaching to the sales reps out there, please think of your demos as conversations, not as demos.
Yeah. And it's ironic that this is called demolitions. Maybe we should change it to conversationalitions.
I think we should.
It just doesn't go.
It rolls off.
It rolls off.
Yeah.
It's so easy to say. All right.
Where you have to upload one asset to that one folder. This is actually a differentiator for MediaValet, just in the sense that we organize the assets. That's at least, we didn't realize it was a differentiator until one of our integration partners, the largest one in the world, IO Integrations, came back, and we asked them what's different about us, because they have some great insight into other platforms, and really the way that we're able to provide flexibility around how you're organizing your assets. Because this is also pertains to how you're going to open up those access rights, right? So if I have an asset that is for a specific client, it's in a specific department, and it's a specific project, I'm going to tag it with those 3 categories, right? But then if you want to open up access to GNC, then it saves you some time, and the administration becomes easier, because you're going to block them off from this stuff, right? But when they come in, then you don't need to worry, okay, well, does that asset have the folder? Does that folder have the asset in it? You don't need to worry about that, because it's just simply a metadata. It's actually a layer of metadata tags. And it's also going to contribute to your searchability, because whenever the minimum requirement that an asset has to live in the dam is a category. So, and these are searchable. So, that category is obviously going to have something to do with the asset, most likely. So all of that it automates that process a little bit by being able to search by the category name.
So that is a game changer, because
all right, quick point is, it really feels like he's just throwing the whole buffet at her.
Yeah, I know.
Come eat whatever you want.
Right, and isn't the whole point of the discovery to actually figure out, is the person, I don't know, like a vegetarian, or what is it they prefer?
Could be gluten-free.
Could be gluten-free, and then you riff on the gluten-free foods, right? Not the non-gluten-free foods.
Yeah, so you got to be watchful of that.
Yeah.
Let's see how you turn it around.
Okay.
I'm going to share it, and that's going to send an email to them with the content here. It's going to be all branded, in case you're sending it externally with your email signature, set up your messaging and things like that. And then if they have an internal account, then that's going to give them a link that's going to redirect them back into the dam to that lightbox, where you can share externally as well. So for example, if I'm sharing to a client directly, so say when the fellow, okay, he has that light box, all right, he wants to grab it and he wants to send it out to the client. He's going to share this as either an online web gallery or a zip file. So an online web gallery is it's typically a bit more pretty, and a better way to showcase that, because rather than having to open a zip file, extract it, look at all the different assets they'll get, I'll show you what they'll get here. So I'm actually just going to create a quick web gallery. I'm gonna unlock undo checkout. We can go over that, what that is in a sec, but I'll grab, wow, why don't we use your content? Or no, I'll grab a video. I want to grab a PDF. I know like PowerPoint slides were something that was of mention, right? Okay, so I'm going to go into our advanced search here. I'm going to look for documents. I'm going to look for PowerPoints. Search. Okay, I'm going to grab our enterprise developer package. So I'm going to add this to, let's see here. We have Mark USA. So I'm adding that to that light box. I'm going to go back.
Okay, so this is an interesting scenario. We are seeing a bit of a theme emerge here, right? And it's a lot of talking and a lot of detail. I mean, when we look at the amount of time, this is an hour and 9-minute demo. And to me, Scott, it's like there's a line that I really encourage people to think about when we're doing our replays coaching, and it's, are you selling or are you training?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, like I couldn't agree more. It seems like this is an onboarding process.
Yeah.
Right? It's again extremely thorough. We're seeing every single button get clicked on,
right?
Which is fantastic if you're much later stage that they're already a client and you're enabling them.
Yeah, especially when you're selling to a senior vice president.
Yes.
And so I guess for all you folks listening, it's like next time you're doing your demo, think through, when you're trying to think, how do I slim my demo down? Because most are too long. It's, am I selling or am I training at this part? And if you're being the onboarding specialist in training, cut it out.
Yeah. I want to quickly double click on something you said because I think it's a great point is this is an SVP of marketing.
Right.
She is not going to be in there clicking every button day to day.
No.
She just needs to know enough to be confident that this tool is going to help her managers, her team do their job more effectively. That's all she cares about.
Yeah.
So make sure that you are tailoring your demo to the persona and the people that are in the room.
Actually, in fairness, if we're going to throw that out there, we should talk about how.
Yeah.
Right? So what are a couple things that jump to your mind in terms of if you're not going to go deep and it's a very senior individual, how do you get the message across?
Yeah. So I look at it this way. So if you're selling into the C-suite, they care about things that affect the entire enterprise or the organization. So you have to be thinking, what are those levers? It's different for each business. Director, they're going to care about how to enable their managers, right? Their business units. And then the managers are going to be like, how is this going to help my individual contributors? So that's the way I think you have to think of it and frame it when you're talking to those stakeholders.
Agreed. And in terms of tactically how to do that, it's all about the value and it's about customer stories, talking through the customer lens. This is why our customers find value in this. Let me share a story with you. To me, it's the what and the so what, and then the customer story.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how it goes.
All right.
What I'd like to do, just to wrap things up here, what I'd like to do is talk to my team, and I'll get your notes and your recording. We'd like to move forward with a couple of different DAM providers with a trial. If we could provide specific assets so that we can do, a short trial, a small trial. So we certainly we'll be evaluating that in the next few weeks, and then we want to get started with a couple of trials. And I'm, since the first call I had with Baden, I felt like MediaValet had a lot of what we're looking for. So
awesome.
Barring any
unforeseen circumstances.
Unforeseen circumstances, I feel, we'll evaluate MediaValet with the others, but I'm confident.
Okay, here is a big lost opportunity in my eyes. Yeah. So she just said MediaValet is at the top of the list. Fantastic. Why? Why is MediaValet at the top of the list? Once you know that information, all of your follow-ups, all of your next conversations can be centered around that unique differentiating factor that makes her love MediaValet right now. And we still don't know what that is. So we're still in the dark.
We still don't know that. We still don't know who's on the list.
Exactly.
That's pretty important, right? So I really want to understand who are the top folks that we're competing against, and then I'd go into like, what are the criteria that you're going to use to make this decision? But let's see if he continue. We've got a few more minutes left. Hopefully he does get into that.
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
In terms of limits on the trials, we don't put limits on it. I mean, I'm here. It's not much for us to create it and keep it open. You might find out there that some other people that you're evaluating might put caps on it or something like that. I mean, I'm not here to provide to put any undue pressure on you folks to select a solution. I just want to give you the opportunity to be able to fully evaluate it, feel confident in it, and then at that point, just so you can make the most informed decision on what's going to be the best rollout for you. So I'll set it for 3 weeks initially, and then if we're needing to extend it beyond that, then you just let me know.
Oh, well played, Drew. I like that. And it's all about making the prospect feel comfortable and being confident in what you're selling. And I think the fact that Drew's pointing out that the competitors actually have a limit on the trial, and Drew's making a point of saying, hey, with ours, we want you to take all the time you want. We don't want you to feel pressure. I like that. I like that tone. It tells me a lot about the organization culturally. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I think throughout the common theme is he's got this demeanor that makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And again, he knows everything through and through.
He does. Yeah.
So that's great. Let's see how he kind of wraps this all up and brings it all home.
Okay.
And just some general stuff. But in terms of pricing, so we're just for the core down, we're just based on storage amount. So do you know in terms of terabytes how much content you have, or would be looking to start with?
Someone had asked that question on one of the calls, and I'm trying to think of what Charlie said. I'm going to have to get back with you.
Yeah, no worries. What I can do is provide our like entry level enterprise package. Let's say about 40% of our clients will start out with that, and that's 1 terabyte US annually with a one-time setup fee. But I can
Sounds great.
Some insights, and I know we had discussed creative spaces. Are there any other integrations? I mean, that you might be interested in even seeing the pricing for it? We haven't really talked about them. I can like the Adobe Creative Cloud. Would that be something that you would see using, or?
We could at this point. I think maybe we'll put that on the shelf. But
sounds good. Great. Well, I'll put that together. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm sorry that we went over, but it was a great conversation.
No, I think it was very good, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate both of you and the information that you provided, because it was a good foundation for this call, and we'll go from there. So we'll chat soon. Send us the recording and the notes and any of the other information you have on onboarding paper and the pricing, and we'll go from there. But again, probably early September, we would be getting back with you.
Okay, excellent. Well, the transcription through Zoom takes about maybe an hour and a half, but I'll make sure that I have the follow-up ready for then so I can shoot it over.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so here we are at the end of the call. You've heard me say before, Scott, so important, I know you agree, to leave, like 10 minutes, sometimes more, for the important discussion around pricing, next steps. I mean, I got a few thoughts, but what are yours?
Yeah. Well, he's squeezing pricing into 2 minutes. So you're going to have to hurry up your cadence and talk like that infomercial guy where like, this is the side effects, man. It's just, you need to take ample time at this part. This is arguably, after discovery, this is the most important part. So spend the time.
Right. I mean, pricing is important, and it can be uncomfortable enough already in terms of talking pricing. Let's not make it more uncomfortable by rushing them through it. And so I guess a few things stick out for me. One is we didn't really leave there fully understanding or exploring who the competitors were, and then understanding what are the key criteria. Like, I love to ask questions like, okay, knowing that you're putting us up against at least one other sort of lead horse in this trial, what are the top 2 or 3 things that are going to put you over the line? Or how about, hey, have you actually already had a demo from them? Sounded like maybe they did. And if so, was there anything that you didn't see here that you were hoping to see? Or what, and the flip of that is, what did you see here that you really liked today? I don't know. To me, those are some of the questions I just will not leave a call without asking. when I've got a senior vice president on the line.
Yeah, I think, as we kind of wrap this up and summarize some of the learnings from today is, like you said, there didn't seem to be enough probing questions, unfortunately. And I would have loved to see that. And I will do a caveat is this prospect loved it. She said multiple times, this is awesome. MediaValet is at the top of the leaderboard. Thank you so much. So it doesn't really matter too much what we say, but since we have a show, it does. But I think when I watched this, it really felt like an onboarding presentation. We said it before, but this was like your first day of training on this software, not necessarily a demo sales call, in my opinion. So if I had to put a bow around it, those were my kind of takeaways from it. So spend more time in the probing questions and don't get so caught up in the details, unless they've asked to see them specifically.
Yeah.
What are some of your kind of takeaways?
You know what? If Drew is going to sell something to me, I'd be happy to have him on the other end of the line. I just want him to spend half the time doing it. That's all. Right? Knowledgeable, knows his stuff. Just don't wear the onboarding hat, wear the sales hat, consultant hat. And aside from that, no, I think there's some really, really good stuff there. But hopefully Drew's got some good takeaways from this as well.
Yeah. And Drew, you're a badass sales rep, so keep doing your thing. But yeah, if it could just be like 40 minutes instead of an hour and 10 minutes,
totally.
It would have been the best demo ever.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. We'll see you next episode.
See ya.